Hello, my name is William. Oh, I go by William there. My actual name is William, and today I'm playing a game called Tiny Bunny. It said overwhelmingly positive reviews, and it looked scary. And I'm trying to figure out what to play next after what I just get done playing. I'm trying to squat. This yeah, that. But anyways, let's just jump right in. Let's do it. Let's leap. Let's step. Let's high step it. I wonder if this is gonna be anything like Brer Rabbit. Anybody know Brer Rabbit? Friar Rabbit? What is this? Ooh, it's a read along. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. This music is incredibly loud. I'm gonna turn down the music just to. Oh, is that sounds? Yeah. I'm turning down sounds about right there. I put the music back up. Alright, there you go. Sorry, it's loud. It's like really loud. And nope, already read that. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own. The creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. It's kind of hard reading white on white with little black pieces mixed in. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Get my deep voice on. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. 12? Now I'm gonna do my Barry White voice. Still. I can't do it. Oh, it's a raccoon! Or fox. Foxwolf. Dang, is that? Oh, that's my mama. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look how slouched you are. Hide. Oh, I get to pick. Hide it. Do I not have a choice? God dang, my mother is handsome. This looks like, Griffin from Berserk. I'll throw in a picture if I'm not being lazy. Handsome. Hide it. Okay, whatever. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. Let me get that out the way, sorry. I was stuck on the line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. My sister is really stuffing a mouthful of brownies. Excuse me. Olia had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere till you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. Oh, okay, so that was him saying it. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show. What? I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Or how cold the black forest is at night. Really cold. Ah! The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? Who's Anton? Is that me? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. Yeah, you better walk away. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Katna! Oh, Karina? Where's the... what? Nah, man. Karina. Ha! That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. How old am I? I mean, I know I'm 12, but... rascal? What year is this? She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? Ooh, Grandma got a little fuzzy fuzz going on. Or is this Grandpa? Nope, this is Grandma. Ooh. Hiya, Watha. Girl, you looking fine. It ain't my grandma. I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Grandma. Tiger is a special place, little girl. Tiger. Rex City. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to decide what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. What's going on here? Our parents used to love each other back then. Oh, I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. Jesus! She had already bought a casket. Alright, thanks, Grandma. And she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet. Patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. Okay, I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Grandma! Glass-covered pictures with grey faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I thought I said they all had dead. I crawled out from under the table. Olia was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. A fox! I told you! Olia, look! It's a fox! Oh boy, I'm gonna do a voice. Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit. No, I see it clearly. I clearly see it. And look under a certain angle. Not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey! Ear! Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hey! There's not much left! Ah! There it is! Or is that... Ah! I don't know how to do that. There it is! But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh. It does. Stop it! These kids, I swear! Oh, it's gone. Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. Ooh, Papa! Boy, you handsome. You beautiful. Handsome and beautiful together. Make gorgeous children. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it. Wait. Come on! Shave it off! It stings! That's asking jokingly? This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling dolls and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olia always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake." "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply. "For the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Dance! Devo. Oh, Diavio. Okay, I was like... Whatever. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still... Karina, please. Stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl? There was no owl. But there was one! It had giant glowing eyes! Oh, girl, you fast. Olia sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each. Last year you had Bye-Bye in your closet, and now this owl. But I saw him. Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Dang, bro! You are mean. Don't bully our girl! She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olia pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. Clip-clop, clip-clop, the staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict, handsomely beautiful look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stalled on incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Not eating my porridge. Earlier I had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night to turn on the Vicar. Cartoons helped to take her mind off of all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Ooh, no! And then Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. Oh, look at that. Look, that's cool. Oh, wow. She became obsessed with it. Excuse me? Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That ain't no dang owl! Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of Michael Jackson! Sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind a flat black silhouette. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloody shoes? The darn school can burn for all I care. This kid is 12. I don't believe it. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider, or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates were like me after all, but who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet. My mom. Huh, that's nice. I mean, he ain't lying. God dang. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though, I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easy. Going during the day, its shadows lay dormant in the corners on the closet cobwebs and under the stairs. Is that my chair? Oh, no, it's the game. I was like... But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in places of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Got a cat and Michael Jackson. Oh wow, that's cool. Okay, so that thing is human-sized and flying. Monsters! Someone was dancing in the field! Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly the music... Oh god. Uh-oh. Oh man. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place and, I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. And one of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh, I don't like that. Woo, I don't like how that sounded in my ear. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became dark and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me! A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around looking for an entrance. Go away! The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door! I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remember the funeral. My grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. That's gross. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs will once again move inside the sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now, lying under the blanket, listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Boyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. Okay. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from the devil's lair to feast and always leave alone. God's faithful servant named Antone. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of falling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. "Thank you, Daddy! Daddy!" I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes! Dust to dust! I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness, and then... Oh, no! The doorknob twitched slightly. Earlier! And then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. Oh god. The doorknob tilted once more, and then... started clicking violently! My jaw cramped with fear! My wet fingers clutched the blanket! The door creaked open! The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains! Now! You'll see! The door was wide open! The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway! Tony! It is Olia. Ain't it? It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung on the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony! My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, "Tony, you asleep?" I knew it, you rascal, you! My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Olia! I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olia frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony. Please! I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olia down. Oh, she's shaking. Poor baby. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled. Fuzzy. What was that? What started me with his eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? What? The darkness was clinging to the window and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chance. It couldn't be satisfied with the feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Ah! Whoa! My sister is a demon. That was childish! Whoa! I'm handsome. That was childish! Frickin'. Ugh, my nipples tingle. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here, in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. Drink break. Alright, continue. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Tony! Come here! I felt like kettleballs were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. Oh, it's space... Oh, wait, was it police? Are they Russian? Dostoevsky. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. You smell frosty. Ugh. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Voices bandits. At the moment though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello. The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out. The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. What's the policeman's voice? Yeah, see? Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Yeah, well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right! Your window looks straight at the forest, don't they? Your windows... The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. Yeah, how do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, eh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything's alright, thank you. Duh. Take a break! Jesus. The policeman passed through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and end his unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age. Wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Want to help other people, just like me, see? Ah ha! That is his voice. I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative, and not a police officer, stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Stay away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say! Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? Sixth. Oh, I guess that's right. Sixth. Yeah, you made any friends there so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. I can't even hear myself, so I don't know if I'm doing the same voice or different ones. Ah, then, I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me, if you have any new info. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone, there. For some reason I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What would his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Verva, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it, poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police, J.O.A.T, drove off toward the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was spitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Am I supposed to be able to click on these? Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, BAM! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints sent to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward! Olia would be so happy! And not only Olia, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olia a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. Oh, they're German. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Okay. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had any money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside! Yeah, right! You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olia. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Yeah, they usually do that. To the kitchen! It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Oh. Mom! Something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim, and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Ah, you're killing me! So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? I told you the kinescope would go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings. Please, go see for yourself. Strange. It worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olia's room. Alright, running for my freedom! I'm running away! I opened the front gate and went into the field, carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, a distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head. Blurry, and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent it felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit. A one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our department became numb a couple of days before we departed. What? It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olia present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. Broke out, I think. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. This dude is extremely poetic. Like he's getting me lost. You think too much, man. Gnopped. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun, and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in the contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithed under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze in ice. Dry, prickling branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. So many syllables. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. Oh, should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Willis Minton helped him find the lost boy. Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Oh no, I heard that too. As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the tree, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. What figure? I don't see nobody. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. Whoa, hey bro, calm down. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Whoa! Oh, he was standing right there! Ugh. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just... Give me that frickin'... Give me that... Oops. So... Nope. I'm sorry. Go back. Whatever. I was on Jazz Brent's roots. Thought just my imagination. I did my... Okay. Imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. Are those your footprints? My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I just grabbed the glove. I looked at the mitten once more. I'll leave it. Lumps of snow fell from the branch, and that reminded me of the sound soil makes when you throw it into the pit on top of a casket. I immediately felt dizzy, as if I was bouncing at a precipice. I slowly backed away from my finding. It felt like the moment I touched it, a trap would spring, and then the mouse would get caught. Someone stepped on the ice behind me, close by. My inner voice whispered, "Save yourself, run!" My nerves got the better of me. I ran, burying my head in my shoulders. Well, he gone. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength and spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears were numb. It felt like the sound had come from the back of a hungry beast rather than a single one. Pack! Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shout flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. Their roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurrah! Run! Don't look back! It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous like quicksand. I was stuck in a place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one. Even before, I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow. I was clutching at my paws. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone, but my boots started to hold and the soles were on the hot surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump, and from there I ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings at the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in, so I could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. My heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and mounted up the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and obediently gave away. Shut the door! I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. What? My finger slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Nope, this is a little bit more useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. That was intense. What exactly did you understand when I told you never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I struck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place. Of course. If there was someone in the first place. Here, mere 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring. And with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave away. Mine too. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before, all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you stay home. Am I nothing to you two? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find the cigarettes. Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there! At the fence! My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. My mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. Oh, I was getting chased by dog wolves! I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminded me of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me. Like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from my mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olia? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look! They're alive! Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind! Oh, you're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb written corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. I wanted to seek through the floor from embarrassment. Uh-oh. Come here, my boy. Who cried, wolf? Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and you... Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Volva's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all, just like the forest monsters, and Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Anytime. You done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom. I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mwah! She scrutinized me, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. Look, an achievement. Run for your life! It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer, and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Iago's voices died down. It was in Russian. Interesting. I wonder if it was at the actual movie in Russian. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. My rusty bed. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. This Olia, look at her little big head. My tired hand dropped onto the sheets. When it was due to medication, I took all the stress I underwent. The room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor, just like a shroud. Earlier? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried-up lips. Yeah, earlier, it's not funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Ba-dum, ba-dum, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field of a chorus of voices. For a second I wanted to return to the bed just to lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. You're so cute. Gotcha. I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olia's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light, woven child. Why did the police come? Did you do something? No, of course not. It's because of the owl, isn't it? I showed her a worried smile and rubbed her head. A boy got lost in the woods. Oh, he must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Olia traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to the houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything except bullets. They've already scouted the forest. I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olia as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Olia wasn't listening to me. She asked in a hushed voice while piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes and uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense! An owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... how should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Olia shivered and stole a glance at the window. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and a small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower. Can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong! No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon, I promise. You know what I wish for my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. That'd be weird. That'd be weird. That'd be really weird. Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Olia giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tony, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue went over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. Come on. It's so boring alone and Mom is always busy. We could pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You ever watched Peter Pan? Peter Pan! Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go, let's go! Maybe a little later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know! Let's play hide and seek. No, Olia. Then draw me a dino. Olia, please. Draw it! Draw it! Will you leave me alone already? Oh, I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Olia stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olia from crying. All right, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit.
I don't want.
I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go watch Peter Pan.
Boo! You'll fall asleep again.
I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full triceratops later.
Hurrah! Triceratops!
Well, close enough. No one ever said she was the smartest one. Olia rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face.
I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread and you rewind the tape.
Is this supposed to be Russia's version of Oreos and milk?
The bread is fresh, just how you like it.
Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again.
Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it.
Olia disappeared into the doorway and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Both these kids got straighter teeth than I ever will. Steal our money. A piggy bank. Olia is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. That was wet. It's a wet burp. Olia's countless toys. I know teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olia doesn't sleep without it. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Ew, gross. Ew, get it away, gross. Can I... The scary window where Olia sees that accursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olia keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight, so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. Alright. Digital auto-tracking auto head cleaner. Oh, that's me. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a... It was a dark tiger forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few months later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? The local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. I'm starting to bleed into a British accent. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. Oh, where's my mouse? It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antennae. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olia had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy state I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Okay. Oh, what? Pajamas. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. Okay. Lord. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images swirled in my head. Me and Olia flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I notice that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The winds are no longer able to hold us, and Olia...
You haven't started up without me, have you?
My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. No, come sit.
Mom and Dad are arguing again.
They're going through some rough times.
Rough times are lame.
On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Aurelia was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana.
Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too.
Yeah, right.
I'll have my own dog at the Neverland and a cat and a parrot.
Aurelia smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me.
Have you lost all your baby teeth?
Obviously. Aurelia frowned, deep in thought.
Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth?
Well, we'll think of something.
We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport.
And why would Dad forge documents? Aurelia took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full. Oh.
He won a whole month.
You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Aurelia got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. Captain Hook! As if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there. In a land where one never ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality.
Tony, shut the kids fast!
Why? No one's watching. You?
It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared.
I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside, toward the treetops, toward the tiger forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches scraping the snow.
Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad too thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists! Honestly, it does! You do believe me, right? That it comes every night and...
I swiftly grabbed Aurelia's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright. Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens, and don't look out the window.
But he wants me to look.
Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. Just wait till the morning, right? It won't be there. It only comes at night, so don't be there. Look out at night. Duh. What happened? We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Aurelia's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Aurelia's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day of school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up, and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. Thank you for completing Up on the Tiny Bunny. Did you enjoy it? Hey, that's not too bad. I like that. What? That was Tiny Bunny. I really liked it. There's a lot of syllables in that, but it was well written and I love the animation. That was really cool. I'm definitely gonna follow this and I'm gonna play it. Ep 1, Ep 2, Ep whatever. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you're welcome. Have a good day. Bye.